Jungkook leaks BTS's emotions in ARIRANG. I asked this the song that will make fans cry. What if a simple thank you is not just gratitude, but a coded confession? What if behind Jungkook's soft words on Apple Music hides a storm of stories BTS has never fully told about pain, pressure, silence, and survival? And what if the album titled ARIRANG is not just a comeback, but a quiet warning that some songs will hurt more than they heal? The moment Jungkook's message appeared on Apple Music, fans felt something was different. Not louder, not flashy, but heavier. His words were simple, warm, almost shy, thanking ARMY for always being by their side, calling fans their biggest inspiration. On the surface, it looked like another sweet message. But the tone, slow, careful, emotional, made many fans stop scrolling. Why did it sound like a goodbye and a confession at the same time? Why did it feel like Jungkook was holding something back? This message came as part of the pre-release promotion for BTS's fifth studio album, ARIRANG, officially scheduled to drop on March 20th, 2026. After nearly 4 years of group hiatus since 2020, after military service, after solo projects, after global pressure that never really stopped, BTS is finally returning as Seven. But instead of coming back with explosive hype, they return with something quieter, deeper, and more emotional. And that is exactly what scares fans the most. Because silence in BTS history has always meant something big is coming. To ARIRANG is not a random title. It comes from the Korean traditional folk song, ARIRANG, known across generations as a song of longing, separation, resilience, and sorrow. In Korean culture, ARIRANG is not just music, it is memory. It carries the weight of people who left, people who waited, people who suffered quietly. So when BTS chose this as their album title, fans immediately knew, this is not just a party album. This is a story album. And then Jungkook spoke on X. Through the account at @rapperjk, Jungkook posted a short video showing the ARIRANG album cover with a striking red logo and slowly appearing text. Along with it, he wrote, "Thank you for always being by our side. You're our biggest inspiration. Thank you."
No emojis, no jokes, no plafeltoon.
Just gratitude that felt heavy. The post exploded within minutes. Thousands of likes, thousands of retweets. But more than numbers, what exploded was interpretation. Fans did not read this as a casual thank you. They read it like a letter written at midnight, when emotions are louder than logic. Why did Jungkook choose such a serious tone now? Why right before the album reveal? Why did his voice in the Apple Music message sound softer, slower, almost like he was choosing each word carefully so it wouldn't break? On Apple Music, fans who pre-added ARIRANG were given access to special voice messages from all 7 members: Jin, Suga, J-Hope, RM, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. Each message was warm, but Jungkook stood out for how emotional it felt. Not dramatic, not crying, but controlled, like someone who has cried before pressing record. And fans noticed on social media, many ARMYs began saying the same thing. This doesn't sound like celebration. This sounds like reflection. This sounds like someone looking back at something difficult and saying, thank you for surviving it with us. Suddenly, a theory started growing. What if some songs in ARIRANG are sad? What if BTS is finally going to talk about the things they kept quiet during the hiatus? The loneliness of being apart, the fear of losing relevance, the pressure of returning after military service to a world that has changed. The pain of being global symbols instead of just young men who love music, because BTS's hiatus was never just a break. It was a moment when the world kept moving, but BTS had to pause. From 2020 until now, everything changed: music trends, social media culture, fan behavior, even the industry itself. BTS went into military service while younger groups rose, algorithms shifted, and global attention moved fast. Imagine carrying the title, biggest group in the world, while stepping away, not knowing what the world will look like when you return. That kind of fear doesn't disappear. Fans believe ARIRANG will talk about that. The album is confirmed to have 14 new songs and multiple physical versions, including an exclusive vinyl edition. Pre-orders started on January 16, 2026, at 11 o'clock Korea Standard Time through Weverse and other platforms like Target for special editions. But what fans are really pre-ordering, emotionally, is not just music. They are preparing themselves for stories, because BTS has always used music as diary, from their early songs about youth pressure, school violence, and dreams, to later works about fame, anxiety, and self-love. BTS never hides behind meaningless lyrics. They turn real emotions into melodies. So when Jungkook sounds emotional before the album even drops, fans ask, what kind of emotions are we about to hear? And why now? BTS officially confirmed their group comeback after finishing military service, announcing it last summer. They also revealed a massive world tour for 2026 to 2027, starting in South Korea in April and covering more than 70 cities across continents. That sounds like celebration. But behind every celebration, there is preparation. And behind preparation, there is fear, because a comeback after 4 years is not just a return. It is a test. Can they still dominate charts? Can they still move hearts? Can they still connect with fans who have grown, changed, aged, struggled, just like them? This is why Jungkook's message feels so important. It sounds like he is not thanking fans just for support. It sounds like he is thanking them for waiting, for not leaving, for staying during silence. That kind of gratitude usually comes after something painful. Fans now believe ARIRANG will contain songs about the loneliness of being separated during military service, the fear of losing each other as members, the pressure of being global icons, the confusion of growing older in front of millions, the pain of change, and maybe the sadness of knowing that nothing stays the same forever. The word ARIRANG itself often appears in songs about separation. In traditional lyrics, people sing ARIRANG when someone leaves, when a lover goes far away, when fate feels unfair. So what does it mean when BTS uses this name now, after years apart, after individual journeys, after military duty? It feels like they're saying, we left, we changed, we suffered, but we came back. But coming back does not erase what happened in between. That is why fans believe some tracks will be slow, emotional, and reflective. Not all sad, but deep. Songs that make you stop scrolling. Songs that make you remember where you were when BTS went quiet. Songs that make you think about your own waiting, your own changes, your own losses. And Jungkook's message feels like a key to that door. He didn't talk about charts. He didn't talk about success. He didn't talk about breaking records. He talked about inspiration, about ARMY being the reason, about gratitude. When artists stop talking about success and start talking about people, it usually means something inside them has changed. Armies around the world responded emotionally. Hashtags like #BTS_ARIRANG and #Jungkook quickly dominated global trends. But many posts were not screaming excitement. They were quietly emotional. Some fans wrote, "Why does this feel like he's about to tell us something sad?" Others said, "This feels like BTS's diary after 4 years." Many admitted, "I'm scared to listen because I know I will cry." And that fear is mixed with love, because fans don't just want happy songs. They want honest ones. They want to hear what BTS went through when cameras were off, when stages were empty, when members were alone in uniform instead of costumes. When global fame meant waiting, not performing, BTS has never hidden their struggles. But some struggles are too personal to speak immediately. Sometimes you need time, distance,
Healing.
only then can you turn pain into music. ARIRANG feels like that moment, and Jungkook's emotional tone feels like the warning before the storm. Not a storm of chaos, but a storm of feelings. The idea that some songs will make fans cry is not just marketing. It is based on BTS's history. Whenever they talk about gratitude with such emotional weight, it usually follows deep struggle. Think of their songs about burnout, pressure, and identity. Think of how often their saddest songs become fans' favorites, not because they hurt, but because they understand if ARIRANG truly talks about hiatus, military service, global pressure, and life changes, then fans are not just listening to music. They're listening to time, to years that passed without group stages, to nights when members were apart, to moments fans could only imagine. And Jungkook, the youngest, the one who grew up in front of the world, is now speaking like someone who has seen too much to joke about it. That alone tells a story. BTS is not returning as boys. They are returning as men who have lived different lives, carried different burdens, and now come back with one shared voice. That voice, if Jungkook's message is any clue, will not only celebrate. It will confess to SO when fans ask, "Is this the song that will make us cry?" The real answer might be, not one song, many, not tears of sadness alone, but tears of memory, because ARIRANG is not just an album. It feels like a bridge between who BTS was and who they are now, between the world before hiatus and the world after, between fans who waited and idols who returned, and Jungkook's quiet "thank you" sounds less like an ending and more like the moment before someone finally tells the truth. SO when March 20th, 2026 arrives, the real question won't be, will BTS top the charts? The real question will be, are we ready to hear what they've been holding inside for 4 years? And are we strong enough to listen? If it sounds like our own story too. As the release date moves closer, every small signal from BTS feels like a hidden message, a logo color, a word choice, a pause in Jungkook's voice. Everything is analyzed like a puzzle. Fans are no longer just waiting for music, they are waiting for answers to years of silence. And the more BTS stays quiet about the details of ARIRANG, the louder the emotions become. Big Hit Music has not revealed the tracklist titles yet.
No lyrics.
No teasers with melodies. Only the name ARIRANG, the number of tracks, and the voices of the members thanking fans. But sometimes, what is not said is more powerful than what is said. The absence of flashy promotion feels intentional. It feels like BTS is asking fans to listen with their hearts first, not their eyes, and Jungkook's message keeps echoing in that silence. Fans replay it again and again. They listen to his tone, the small pauses, the softness. He doesn't sound tired, but he sounds changed, like someone who has seen a different side of life. And that makes people wonder, what did Jungkook feel when he was away from the stage? What did he think about at night when there were no cheers, no cameras, no performances? He entered the industry as a teenager. Fame grew with him. His voice matured in front of the world. But military service, time apart from the group, and global uncertainty forced him into a life that was no longer scripted by schedules and stages. That kind of shift changes a person. And when someone like Jungkook, known for his bright energy, suddenly speaks with quiet depth, fans know something important has happened inside him. This is why many believe ARIRANG will not hide behind metaphors too much. It will be direct, emotional, honest, maybe even uncomfortable, because BTS has reached a stage in their career where they don't need to impress. They need to express. They have nothing left to prove in terms of numbers. They have broken records, sold out stadiums, dominated charts, and changed how the world sees K-pop. So what remains? Meaning, legacy, truth. ARIRANG feels like a step into that space. The world tour announcement for 2026 to 2027 adds another emotional layer. More than 70 cities, starting in Korea in April. That means BTS will soon stand together again on a Korean stage as seven after everything they've been through. Imagine the first moment when the lights go down, the crowd screams, and the members walk out together. That moment will not just be a concert opening. It will be history. And if ARIRANG contains songs about separation, pressure, and change, then hearing those songs live will be overwhelming. Fans will not just sing along. They will remember where they were when BTS left and where they are now when BTS returns. Many fans have changed too. Some grew from teenagers into adults. Some found BTS during the hiatus. Some lost people. Some found themselves. BTS's return is not just their story. It connects to millions of personal stories around the world. That is why the emotional weight feels so heavy already. People say, "I'm scared to listen." Not because they don't want the music, but because they know it might touch something they've kept quiet inside themselves. Music like that doesn't just entertain. It opens memories, and Jungkook, with his simple message, seems to understand that. He didn't say, "Our album is amazing." He didn't say, "Please support us." He said, "Thank you for being by our side." That sounds like someone who knows how hard it was to stay. Staying loyal during silence is not easy. Staying connected when there is nothing new to hold onto takes real emotion. Jungkook seems to recognize that, and that recognition alone makes fans emotional. Many ARMYs believe that ARIRANG will include at least one song directly talking about waiting, about time passing, about